I tell her get low, gon' rock with me. You gon' mess around now and get a shopping spree. I'm now in your possession like apostrophe. Oh, enough with all the talking, I just told her say less and do more. Do more, do more, do more. Oh, I tell her do more, do more, do more, do more. Go ahead, set the mood right, dirty like a food fight. You been working all day, loaded up in 2 nights. Do more, do more, do more, do more. Oh, I tell her, and she gon' work that round. I'ma mess around and drown when she drop that down. Now my phone be blowing up, I like not right now. Oh, I swear that she ain't next the way she work that mouth. Whoa, automatic cause she move, she be cousin static. I be straight up like an addict, might become an addict. Now I gotta have it, had enough with all the moves, yeah, move here. Ooh, let me grab it now, I'm on 1 year. Now I'm not done yet, told her wait right here. I'll be back one sec, this is just time out, this is not no way. Go and grab that friend, and you know what's next stage. You been rockin' with an all-star, baby, and I know you coming early like a 5-star, baby. Packing out to see this ain't no hostile, baby, and they know me in the city like a mob star. Oh, I tell her get low, gon' rock with me. You gon' mess around now and get a shopping spree. I'm now in your possession like apostrophe. Oh, enough with all the talking, I just told her say less and do more, do more, do more, do more. Oh, I tell her do more, do more, do more, do more. Go ahead, set the mood right, dirty like a food fight. You been working all day, loaded up in 2 nights. Do more, do more, do more, do more. Oh, I tell her,
feel like John Morant, need a triple-double, told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple, I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble, I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell, feel like John Morant, need a triple-double, told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple, I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble, I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell, yeah, I need it now, told him on the lay, I've been moving dog, yeah, I'm on the way, I don't hear the talk, don't care what they say, I don't got no patience, I can't ever wait, I've been trying to get it, running up all these digits, and I've been in the gym, I've been up doing minutes, I just put in that work, told them it's strictly business, and I see through the face, they all just burning bridges, feel like John Morant, need a triple-double, told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple, I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble, I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell, feel like John Morant, need a triple-double, told him check the stats, yeah, I got a couple, I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble, I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell, yeah, they don't want it done like I want it, dog, yeah, they say they want it, then they took the summer off, I've been going down the list, checking numbers off, I was checking on your numbers, told them something's off, I was at the bottom, now you know I'm climbing, now they sending deals, they know I ain't signing, they been trying to sell it, they know I ain't buying, when they send a text, dog I ain't replying, feel like John Morant, need a triple-double, told him check the stats, yeah I got a couple, I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble, I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell, feel like John Morant, need a triple-double, told him check the stats, yeah I got a couple, I don't drop the ball, now I never fumble, I'm the MVP, now I feel like Russell.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close, I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the a landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right. I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life. I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What is going on, Mafia? Shout out to anybody who was tuned into the live stream last night, guys. Today's live stream, I'm kind of excited because we got a lot of good stuff to look at, guys. Obviously, we did get that drop to the downside that we were looking at on yesterday's live stream. Right on the exact signal that we were looking at. Now, I want to go over that because I kind of covered it a bit yesterday as it was a pretty clear sign that we were going to get that drop on the 30-minute. So I want to go over, kind of talk about how we got to where we were when we got the drop, and then kind of what we have coming next as we have gotten a pretty quick rip back to the upside. Is this bullish, or are we simply going to see those higher time frames continue to the downside? Because as you guys know, and as we covered, not only on yesterday's live stream, but a ton of live streams in the past, those higher time frames are still potentially very bearish. So I'm going to be breaking down the higher time frames. And shout out to, was it PK, was asking, are we bullish or are we bearish? And I always say that depends on your outlook. Are you bullish over the next 2 years, the next 5 minutes, the next 4 hours, the next 2 days, the next week? So it is a little bit of a loaded question, but I'm going to break down the higher time frames as well as the lower time frames and kind of give you guys an overall view of what I'm looking at. And hopefully we can get this next, call this next move as quickly as that last one played out. So with all that being said, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get gives you guys some extra chances to win some free crypto on Friday's giveaways on Friday night's live stream. So smash that like button, guys. We're going for 550 likes. If we get 550 likes, shout out to Tony D. I don't know if we have any of these Bing Bong hats. These are like limited because we don't have them anymore. But if we have any new Bing Bong hats laying around somewhere, maybe we'll add some Bing Bong hats to the giveaways as well as some extra free crypto. So shout out to the Mafia. I see you guys popping off in chat already. Shout out to K Diggity. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Says perfect timing. I almost missed this one. Shout out to K Diggity. Well, we're glad you're in here, bro. We got JP in the chat. Tony D checking in. Shout out to Tony D, guys. I'm not going to lie. I had a little incident last night. I don't know if I really want to get into it. I mean, it wasn't really an incident. We thought we might have had an incident at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I will just say, 3 o'clock in the morning, you call your boy, and he shows up in 13 seconds. Tony D is a ride or die. So shout out to Tony D. Shows up way faster than an emergency service would. I'll tell you that much, especially the cops. But anyway, shout out to Tony D. Let's see. We got Gen Z in the chat. Tony D, Push D. Shout out to Gen Z. It's all rhyming today. Shout out to Flame. What is going on, bro? We got Jedi Skirk in the chat. Good to see you guys. We got Crypto Billy, Rob the Crypto Stomp, Tyler Jordan. You guys know the mods. Drop them some love in the chat. They help me out endlessly with this YouTube channel. If you love them as much as I do, drop them some love in the chat. Shout out to Wayne C. We got Crypto Trey in the chat. We got the whole crew here, the whole Mafia tuned in today's live stream. So without further ado, guys, smash that like button, smash that like button. Let's go ahead and jump on into the charts and see if we can call this move once again. Here we go. So here we are, guys, on the Bitcoin chart. And yesterday on the live stream, obviously, we were looking at some very, very, very specific things, looking for a potential move to the downside. And we obviously got that hilariously right after I got off the live stream, right? Like literally ended the live stream around 7 o'clock, I think. And then basically at, where did the drop down actually begin here? Where are we here? What am I doing? Come down to a lower time frame here. Yeah, so yesterday, where are we? 12 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Why am I so what's today? Today's the 4th. Why was I not able to find this? So yeah, yesterday at about 5:30, right? We were live at 5:45 talking about that potential drop to the downside. We saw that, we saw many things. I'm going to talk about exactly what we were looking for. Obviously, we saw that blood diamond pop up on the 30-minute time frame live. And on top of the money flow coming out here as well, and I was specifically talking about that 8-hour red dot that was printing at the same exact time as that money flow crossover into the red. And if we were able to see that 30-minute money flow crossover into the red, that was likely going to be the thing that was going to cause the bigger drop to the downside, guys. And you could see it here in all of its glory. That blood diamond dropped us down a little bit. We got a little retracement to the upside, and then right as that money flow crossed over into the red, that is where we got the bigger drop down to about $55,500. I think the thumbnail was even like 55K next, question mark. Obviously, we're never going to get it right 100% of the time. I even made a joke yesterday. I was like, guys, we've made some really good calls recently. I'm like, probably due to be pretty wrong here. And people in the chat were like, yeah, we'll see about that. And then, we got the little drop to the downside. It wasn't that huge of a move, to be quite honest, in the grand scheme of things. But it is nice. And I'm glad that we talked about it because this is a very, very simple strategy that you can use when you're looking at Market Cypher. If you're new to the charts, it's one of the easier strategies that you can use. And it is something that I used to use alone before I was looking at, more advanced techniques that I'm using right now, right? Such as the volume profiles, the order flow, all that good stuff. My chair is acting up today, guys. Sorry. But yeah, so that 30-minute money flow did wind up giving us that drop to the downside. And then we did get a little bounce here, consolidated, and then got that nice rip to the upside earlier today. And now the question is, Frankie Candles, where are we going next? Well, I'm going to go ahead and start on the higher time frames, do the top-down analysis, and kind of break it down with you guys. If we come on over here to the daily, you guys can see here one of the things that we were looking at yesterday, because obviously we were looking at, we were looking at the possibility of, you got to look at both ends of the coin, right? And what we were looking for on the daily yesterday was, as the 30-minute was looking bearish, as that 3 days looking super, super bearish, we were saying like, hey, we need that green dot on the daily. That's like our last hope. If we get that green dot on the daily, we may be able to see that move price up. And you can see here, obviously, the lower, 30-minute, 8-hour wound up playing out. We never got the green dot on the daily. But we are now still in a position here. Now, this VWAP does not look too good here, but, eventually this will likely, come up to some degree. But this is still what I'm going to be watching to see the bigger move to the upside. And another thing that we covered on last night's live stream, guys, I highly recommend you guys, it's kind of hard because you got to cherry pick the actual moments where we were talking about this, but I will just go over it very briefly. Not only were we looking for the drop to the downside based off the 30-minute money flow crossover, but another thing that we were looking at here, guys, was if we were to get that drop down on the 30-minute, we would likely be given an opportunity to print one of these beautiful, let me get rid of this volume profile, we would have an opportunity to print one of these beautiful little bullish, 4-hour bullish divergences with our lower lows on price action, higher lows on our momentum waves. And that is kind of how, I like to talk about how I like to use Market Cypher B to try to predict like what is going to happen if we get a certain move, right? So as we are anticipating that 30-minute money flow crossing into the red for the drop to the downside, we knew, right, at the time, right, Market Cypher looked something like, something like this, right, on the live stream last night, saying, hey, we got this red dot on the 4-hour, and if that 30-minute money flow crosses into the red and we get a drop to the downside, we could potentially set up to get a nice little bullish divergence on the 4-hour. And not only is this, going to potentially give us an opportunity to look for a bull div for a bounce, but it will also, what do you need to put that bullish divergence in? Well, you're going to need that drop to the downside, and the 30-minute was absolutely screaming that was likely to come in. And just to kind of, show you this playing out, right? As soon as you got that money flow crossover into the red, that is literally what started that move to the downside. Now, on top of that, kind of as we were talking about yesterday, is this 4-hour bull div going to be, a super, super strong bounce to the upside? Now, obviously, we have gotten a little bit of a bounce here. And I was talking to the premium Discord earlier today. This is super choppy price action, guys, right? There are a few different volume profiles that I'm looking at, right? We're looking at something like this. I'm going to talk about these local levels in a second. And then you can also, obviously, pull this back just a little bit to this previous, or actually, I would probably pull it back to this high right here. And there are a few different volume profiles you can look at. However, is this bullish divergence going to be super strong? Yeah, sure, it gave us a little bit of a bounce, but this does not necessarily invalidate. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Yo, shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob, bro. Yo, you're wild for that one, bro. Yo. Yo, shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Bro, you got me dying over here. But anyway, obviously, we looked for that bullish divergence. We did wind up getting that bounce. There were some key levels down here that we wound up hitting. We did have a naked daily point of control down here. And we actually did wind up kind of looking at this. Now, I did not take this trade as I was not at the computer at this time. And I was actually, to be quite honest, there's a couple of like kind of nice confirmations that happened down here. Number one, right, we actually did get a pretty nice SFP of this range low, right? And we always talk about these swing failure patterns. Anytime, excuse me, anytime you wind up getting a deviation from your range, right? If you have a wick like this, we all know, and we actually took a look at this. If we take a look at the heat maps really quickly here, let me go ahead and pop these up real quick. Bada boom, bada bing. Yo, Rob, shout out to Jeremy. Shout out to Jeremy for real, because this is like a perfect example, right? Someone came into the chat yesterday and they were saying, like, I can't believe this guy's bearish. And I was trying to explain that, like the difference between time frames, right? Just because I say I'm bearish on one time frame doesn't mean it's all going to zero. And if I'm bearish on the higher time frames, doesn't mean it's necessarily going to come down immediately. I was trying to explain that it's not as easy as just being bearish or bullish. And then if it goes the opposite way, you're wrong, right? It's all about context. Yeah, we did wind up getting that push to the downside that we were looking for. The question is that 3-day bearish sentiment going to play out and give us the way bigger move to the downside, which I think is what he was upset about. But anyway, let's continue on here. And let me pull up these liquidation heat maps, right? So obviously on yesterday's live stream, we looked at something very specific here on the lower time frames. Let me pull up the 7-day chart. Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. Come on, baby. There we go, right? And we knew that we had this liquidity sitting between about 57.8 all the way down to about 56.8, 56.9. And there are kind of two things, right? I was actually looking for an SFP of these local lows, which obviously we did not get, so I did not take the trade very clearly. But you guys can see, there's kind of two ways that the liquidation levels will react, right? When you get to, when we see these liquidation levels, what is this telling us, right? This is telling us that very likely there are people who have their long stop losses or liquidation levels sitting in this area. And when you wind up having price coming down and hitting these levels and people start getting stopped out of their longs, what does this do, right? This adds sell pressure to the market, because when you get stopped out of a long position or liquidated out of a long, it creates a market sell, right? So oftentimes you will either see a quick wick below that level, and if you do see a quick reclaim of that level, you can potentially see a quick rotation back to the upside, or it's a little bit hard. This is why you want to trade the actual SFP patterns, because what I was actually looking for in the morning, right, earlier with the premium Discord, I was actually looking at this wick as a potential local SFP level. But the beautiful thing here is if you do not get the SFP, then you are not going to take the trade, right? And you can see, you can see here, we did not get the SFP. I know it's kind of hard to see here. You did not get the wick below. Candle just broke through, closed below. So there was no SFP here. And this is why I like the swing failure patterns, because it's very clear. If you do not get the SFP, you do, like, if you don't get the confirmation, you don't take the trade, right? And you don't take the trade, and price continues down, right? However, what wound up happening down here is obviously we wound up seeing the 30-minute give us the drop, putting in the 4-hour bullish divergence, and bada boom, lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves, and then you also wound up getting the SFP of this level as well. And the interesting thing here is that we actually didn't really have that much liquidity sitting below that that level, right? What is the actual, what is the actual price of this wick? 56, 57. Well, yeah, right. We knew that the liquidity was sitting below the, hang on, let me pull this up. I want to make sure that it actually was where the liquidity was. Yeah, 57.48 all the way down to about 56.89. So sometimes when you do see the liquidation levels get taken, sometimes you get FOMO selling, or sometimes, if there's a lot of liquidity, you can get a pretty strong pullback. And if you do not get that SFP, you could potentially, another way you could try to find a trade is wait for that consolidation. You can wait for that 4-hour bullish divergence to confirm, which again wound up confirming at earlier today, right? And then that's what gave us the push to the upside. And there you go, right? You come, you grab the liquidity, you get the SFP, you get the bullish divergences, and you were below the volume profile as well. I'm actually looking more at this volume profile. Let me pull that right here, right? So right now, shout out to the premium Discord. Let's go ahead and highlight that. So actually, let me draw this box really, really quick. Bada boom. Oh my God, while I was making my super U, right before the stream, guys, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty powdery, and I opened it up, and I got a big inhalation of that powder. And now my breath just feels like strawberry lemon. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, here's our local volume profile. So let's get to these key levels, right? So I think you guys have the idea, right? We look for the drop down based off the 30-minute money flow crossover into the red. We got it. We look for the 4-hour bullish divergence. That is where we're getting the bounce from, right? And again, we did have a daily naked point of control here. We are getting the bounce. And then at that point, the idea is, can we get above this volume profile? And in my opinion, if we could hold above this value area low, we could potentially see a move up to that POC, flip that POC, come up to the value area high, right? And this, very simply put, is just a simple volume profile theory, right? And I'm going to talk about some lower levels as well. But before we get into those lower levels and kind of where, if we do get a little bit more of a move down, where I may be looking for some trades, let's go up to the higher time frames, right? Because I do want to cover this. This is important, right? Let's not forget, on the 6-day, the 5-day, or I'm sorry, really from the 5-day, 4-day, and 3-day, these higher daily time frames look pretty bearish as far as money flow, right? But very important to realize, like we were talking about yesterday, just because that 3-day money flow is crossing over into the red, right, which we obviously have right here, this would indicate money flow indicates the longer-term trend, right? So this would indicate that this macro trend, right, this is a high time frame. This is the 3-day time frame. So this would indicate that that longer-term downtrend may continue, right? And we do have those key levels down here. We could talk about those as well. But this is not, like, when you get that money flow crossover, you're not really always anticipating an insta-dump right down to the lower low, right? So, if we're able, again, to get this daily green dot, we may be able to get maybe some more consolidation, right? Maybe we'll get a little bit of a pump to the upside, kind of what we were looking for yesterday, but we just never got the green dot, right? We saw the 30-minute play out instead. But now we're at the point where if we get that green dot, this is going to be the next thing I'm looking at for a potential continuation up. And very simply put, these are the local levels that I'm going to be looking at, right? You have your value area low sitting right here. at about 57.7. Then you have your POC up here sitting at about 59.4. And then you have your value area high sitting up here at about $61,000. So very simply put, if we continue up here and we hold that value area low, we can look for that POC. Now, I am not always interested in short positions at a POC, but depending on what price action looks like when we get up here, if we are able to get confirmations, I may take a stab at some shorts up here. This is not a signal. You have to be able to identify the price action as you interact with the level. This will 100% decide if I actually take the trade. It's not like, oh my God, there's a level of resistance when we hit this short. Not at all. You have to see what kind of signals you're getting at that actual level. But these are the next two key levels of resistance above, right? Very simple. Volume profile, get above the value area low. As long as you stay above that level, look to go to the POC, flip the POC, look to go to the high. And then, once we get above this value area high, we actually do have a significant amount of resistance, right? Maybe I'll show some of the key levels up there. We're kind of far away at this point. But these are local levels, guys. I want to keep it nice and simple. We got the drop to the downside, 4-hour bull div. We're getting the bounce. As long as we can hold this value area low, we can look for that range to fill. Now, with how choppy this price action has been, right? Like, this volume profile has been respected somewhat, right? It actually hasn't been that beautiful of a profile, to be quite honest with you, right? You go from the low, you kind of hang around the POC, back to the low, back to the high, back to the POC, back to the low, back to the POC, but then you go right back to the low, and it's just kind of grindy, choppy price action, right? This is very hard to trade, especially if you're using the volume profiles, because typically this is where you want to look for longs, and above the value area high is where you want to look for shorts, right? And then again, that bullish divergence was pretty nice. I had a rough night last night, so I actually did not take this position. I actually woke up pretty late today as I wound up having to go to bed very, very late. I don't know, Tony D, should we say what happened? I mean, it's not a secret or anything, but it is. I don't know. Maybe whatever. I had a little incident last night, and yeah, shout out to Tony D. But yeah, this is get below the low, look for the longs. Flip that value area low, look to go to the POC, flip the POC, go to the high, deviate above the high. Again, we have very key resistance. Now, some of the fibs that I'm looking at, guys, like what we really want to see here is confluence, right? And with the way this price action has, with how choppy this price action has been, to be quite honest, like if you were long below this low, right, your first stop is the POC, and then could you reject the POC? Absolutely. But, the real high probability trades, in my opinion, is I would much rather wait to take the trade at the value area high or below the value area low rather than take a trade at the POC. But with this choppy price action, in my opinion, you don't know where you're going to reject, really, right? Like, because there's so many local levels here, right? Like, you could pull this local fib. Come on. What is going on here? I'm getting trolled. There we go. Right, we're tapping this golden pocket, 786 in confluence with the POC. So if we're just going to continue this grind to the downside, you could easily just reject that 786 and come back down, right? But again, for me, I'd rather take a short at the value area high. The scalps are pretty brutal lately, right? Super low confirmation, in my opinion, right? But those are the local levels I'm going to be watching for the most part. If we pull some other fibs here, if we pull from, I actually want to pull it from this high right here all the way to the low. Just very basic stuff here, right? Value area high, golden pocket confluence. That's going to be pretty key resistance. Bada boom, bada bing. And this is something we've been looking at for quite some time. It hasn't really moved much. Let me see. Bada boom. Let me see what this is. Okay, yeah, we had some of those levels on the chart already. Yeah. Golden pocket value area high going to be the first major, or not the first, but the biggest, most important level of resistance as far as the grander price action here, looking at the 1 hour time frame. But again, you're high, you're low, you're lower high, lower, it's just really choppy here. So it's hard to know where you really want to pull these fibs from. But one thing is for sure, there's a lot of confluence here on the POC golden pocket, as well as this local POC 786, right? So if I actually just draw this as a box, let me grab this, bring it down here, POC, grab your fib from this high all the way to the low, right? Golden pocket POC confluence. Then you pull the more local more local golden pocket. Come on. Then you have your 786 POC. And then, honestly, all three of these levels are key, right? So if we can get above this golden pocket, POC is likely. Flip the POC, value area high is likely. Now, what is Market Cypher saying about this, right? So those are the key levels. I'll mark these down with lines so you guys can copy them if you want. But just very simply put, hold that value area low, look to fill the range, understanding you have that key resistance above you. And are we, what is it looking like on Market Cypher, right? Well, if we take a look here, you have your, 4-hour bullish divergence printed, VWAP starting to roll over just a little bit. But to be quite honest with you, like these medium time frames, like 3-hour doesn't look half bad. 4-hour starting to round up. Bullish divergences are honestly pretty nice, especially when you have the 16-hour green dot and the daily green dot looking to print. But this 16-hour green dot with some of this money flow on the lower time frames, right? 80-minute money flow crossing over into the green. We know that could be good if we get the green dot on the daily. 90 minutes starting to cross over into the green as well. So remember, just like we were able to predict that drop yesterday right after the live stream, it's like literally like the next candle we started dumping. I really wish that happened on live. But we know if we get that 90-minute money flow crossover with that green dot, just like that 30-minute money flow crossover into the red with the 8-hour red dot, we saw to give the bigger move down. Like, I really want to press this home, right? We looked for this yesterday, and it gave us the move down, and we could potentially see this give us the move up, right? So 90-minute money flow crossover, if we can get that daily green dot to start printing soon, which, again, is it going to happen? This VWAP does not look too pretty. We have another hour and 50 minutes to see if we can get that VWAP to come up and print a green dot on the next daily candle. But the fact that we have the 80 and 90-minute money flow coming up, this doesn't look super, super bad. However, VWAPs are coming down, right? So what is this saying? Money flow indicates a longer-term trend. So if the VWAPs, crossovers, right, the red and green dots are going to indicate the ebbs and flows, potentially, if we get this 80, 90-minute red dot, we could potentially get a little push to the downside before finally getting the daily green dot and the money flow to cross over into the green. So if we don't hold this value area low, if we start losing this value area low again and we start coming down and we are still going to see this money flow continue the uptrend, very simply put, the levels I would be looking at are going to be, there's a few different levels to be quite honest with you. Let me see. Do I have the, let me pull up my face cam real quick. I don't want to leak anything here on the premium charts. Would not be fair to everybody else that pays for the premium. So, yeah, there's actually a few different levels here. Bear with me. Yeah, there's actually a few different levels here. I just want to make sure I'm not going to leak anything here. Okay, so let's pull this up real quick. Let's see. Green dot tomorrow. Expect economic news numbers tomorrow. Give a yeet. Hey, shout out to Darren. Let's see. Shout out to Edward Torres. Says, hey, Frankie, can you show me how to short on TradingView paper trade, please? Yeah, shout out to Edward. Stick around. We'll put in a short here on paper trading on the paper trade panel in a second. Let's see. Shout out to Noor. Says, sorry, but you're speaking a bit too quickly, and it seems like you're not reading your chat. Shout out to Noor. Shout out to you, bro. I think that might be the first time I ever got a comment saying you don't read your chat. Usually they're saying, like, do the TA, bro. Stop talking to chat. Usually we get sidetracked, but shout out to Noor. Let's see. Give us that sauce. Shout out to Crypto Maxi. So, all right, so let's see here. If we do wind up going ahead and getting that bigger drop to the downside, there's going to be some key levels I'm looking at, right? Very simply, we're going to pull from the low to the high here. Whoops, that is not what I wanted. That was a trend line. Let's pull that fib from the low up to the high, right? Golden pocket sitting here at about 56,600, right? Now, I don't know if you're going to get all the way back down there, so I would also be interested in looking at this local fib, which is actually sitting at about, $57,000 even, right? Now, this is a pretty interesting level, right? Let me go ahead and pull some of these other ranges up. Bada boom, bada bing. So, yeah, this is a larger volume profile that I'm looking at. This is being pulled all the way down from the 2021 top, right? We kind of consolidated up here. I extrapolated that range to the right, and you guys can see, I mean, this is something we've looked at for quite some time, right? This range has been very, very greatly respected. Deviate above the highs, eventually we go back down to the low. Excuse me, deviate below the low, back above the back to the high, hold that POC, deviation above, back in, back to the low, right? Because anytime you deviate above those volume profiles, this is where you want to look at price as overbought, right? This is an overbought territory, an overvalued asset. Within the range is the fair value. Price is always seeking fair value. That is why when you get above these levels, you are looking at this as overvalued. And that's why you want to look for short entries up in these ranges and then get a move back into the range, get stuck under the value area high. You know the next likely place for price to go is going to be the POC. Usually you cling to the POC as that is the area where the most volume was transacted, making it act as the strongest magnet within the volume profile. And then once you lose that POC, you're expecting to go down to the low, right? And then you deviate below the low. This is an oversold asset, right, or an undervalued asset. And this is where you're going to be looking to pick up cheap, or look for longs, right, or just pick up the cheap asset, and then you're looking for it to go back to the fair value, and then once you're able to get back in the value area low, hold it as support, you can look to go to the POC and the high, and then just back and forth, and that is what you're looking for to trade these volume profiles, and that's kind of why this local profile here is kind of hard to trade, right, because you're not really respecting this local profile too much. You're kind of just grinding down. But if we look at the larger profile, you could see that Fibonacci retracement that I just pulled is actually sitting at $57,000, which is pretty close to this macro value area low, or I should say larger value area low. I wouldn't say macro. But if we come back down here, guys, like this would be the area where I would be looking for a potential higher low in order to get a bigger move up. And that is if we don't hold this local value area low. Like I said, we might just get this move. If we get this move live, guys, I swear I'm going to be wrong on purpose tomorrow. I'm just going to plan to be wrong. Because this is, if we hold this value area low, next stop is the POC. If we lose that value area low, that $57,000 level is going to be the next level on that local golden pocket, right, which is also confluent with near this value area low. So this is going to be the next long zone, in my opinion, right, or where I will be looking for a bounce, right, 57,243 to 56,622. So there you go. And hopefully, the whole point of these live streams, guys, is to be very educational, right? So I hope that what we were looking at yesterday playing out very quickly after was able to show you guys how the TA plays out, right? I think a lot of people think it's magic, right? I know a lot of the Mafia obviously knows, but anybody new here, if you're skeptical about TA working, in my opinion, TA is 100% an effective way not to predict exactly what's going to happen and know exactly what's going to happen, right? That's the misconception. Technical analysis is never going to be able to give you I would say even a certain estimation of where price is going to go. But if you watch these live streams, you could see what we look for, and you'll have an idea of how much it plays out, right? Recently, I've been kind of on a streak with the bigger calls, right, on these higher time frames with money flow coming out. We've seen the downtrend continue as the TA was telling us it was going to do. But to be very clear, we could have easily had a fake out to the upside, right? It's not that we knew 100% that we were going to get these lower lows, but it is just the statistical higher probability outcome, right? And, just seeing this stuff play out, like that 30-minute money flow crossover into the red with the 8-hour red dot is not always going to give you that quick dump like we saw yesterday. But more often than not, it does, right? And as long as you're managing your risk, especially on the shorter-term trades, managing that risk and having those higher probability outcomes over time, you're going to remain profitable, right? You're going to remain smaller losses, bigger wins, and obviously you want to try to win as much as possible, but even if you're not winning, you don't need an 80% win rate strategy, right? If you're managing your risk correctly, you don't need, you could even lose more than you win, right? And as long as your wins are bigger than your losses, then you're in good shape, right? But those are the key levels, right? So just to go over these really quickly, and I'm going to do kind of an overall recap just to it's a choppy market. There's a lot of levels to look at. If we hold this value area low at 57,750, then we could potentially go up to the POC, break the POC, go to the high. But, the idea is if you hold above the POC, you're eventually looking for that whole range to fill. But you have to understand you have local resistance in front of you, right? So you just have to be aware of all this stuff. If we break below the $57,750 level, then we can look to go for a potential $57,000 golden pocket retracement, right? That 786 of that fib pull is coming in at about 56.6. Now, this is a $57,000 even. If we come on over to XO charts really quickly, bada boom, bada bing. Let that load up real quick. Shout out to the CandleMafia. We got Ant Art in the chat. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Inflation took all the money. Shout out to Jay Bella. Jay Bella, shout out to you. Shout out to Wick589 said, man, watching Frankie work is nuts. Feels like I'm watching an architectural person working. Meanwhile, just kind of build sandcastles in. Meanwhile, I just kind of build sandcastles in the mud. Shout out to Wick 589. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you so much. But I will say this, guys. Like, you can do this too, and I know Wick knows that. And Wick is better than he thinks. He's building, or his sandcastles are more legitimate buildings than he realizes. But yeah, you guys can do this too, and this is why I like to teach this for free every single weekday. But another kind of key level here that I'm looking at, or not a key level, but a big reason why I'm looking at that $57,000 level is you can see we have these single prints now. I'm not going to get too much into this. I don't really cover this as much on the free live streams. It's a little bit more of an advanced kind of tool. But when we see these single prints, right? Basically, these are very similar to low volume gaps, right? So if we come back down, right, and we break below that local value area low, which is sitting again at about 57.6, if we lose that value area low and we come back down and we fill these single prints. If we come down to fill these single prints, guys, the end of these single prints is coming in very, very close to that $57,000 level. And sometimes, right, when you have a gap in, when you have these single prints here, which is basically just an area where price did not spend a lot of time. And oftentimes, price likes to come back and fill these zones, right? It's kind of like, it's just like a gap, right? You see people talk about all these different gaps, right? You have a volume gap, you have, CME gaps, which are a little bit different, right? It's, those are a little bit different, but like volume gaps, single prints are essentially just gaps. You have fair value gaps, but essentially they're just imbalances in the market, right? Price did not spend a lot of time here, and oftentimes price likes to go revisit these levels, right? I would explain it more in detail, but again, we cover this more in the premium. But if we come down here, sometimes this single prints can act as support. But if we start to break into these, this is where, and you could see on the actual profile here, you see I have the volume profile and the TPO profile here, and you can see the TPO profile are the blocks, and then the volume profile is sticking out like these lines, right? It's very similar to a volume profile. You have a high volume node here, you have a high volume node here, and then you have a gap in the middle, low volume gap, and you also have these single prints. So if we come down there and we break into these single prints, we will very likely see them fill very quickly, right? And the fill of these single prints is sitting at about $56,900, which is, again, very, very close to that $56,900 or $57,000 golden pocket. And then at 56.6, pull this back up, right? 56.6 is also getting you very close to this TPOC and VPOC back down here in this area of consolidation. So we do have some confluence here with those single prints and those two naked points of control. So that's it, right? That's what I'm looking for. We lose this value area low. Look for this. This will be kind of the next zone of support that we could potentially get the bounce off of, right? Or one of the levels of support we could potentially get the bounce off of. And again, with these VWAPs coming down, we don't know, right? We don't know anything can happen, right? We don't know if it's going to come down here or we're just going to hold this value area low and come up. But luckily, by looking at this stuff on the chart, we know, hey, I have a clear line in the sand. We break the value area low, we can come down to that Fibonacci retracement, right? Or fill those single prints, right? And here's the thing, too. I just want to cover this real quick. I'm going to come into chat, and then we're going to start looking at some altcoins. What is a TPOC? A TPOC is simply just a time point of control. And again, I won't break it down too much, but when you have a volume, right? When you have a volume profile, and I'll just explain this. Here's some free sauce, right? This is a volume profile, and the higher out these high volume nodes, right? This is your volume. You have a lot of volume up here, or a significant amount of volume here, low volume gap here, high volume node, low volume gap, high volume node, right? And then this is kind of just like a big high volume node. You have a tiny little gap there, but basically, the high volume areas happen where a lot of volume is transacted, right? And that is why you see price cling to the POCs, right? The POC is simply the area where the most volume was transacted, and that is why it is the highest volume node, right? The highest volume node is the point of control because that is the area where the most volume was transacted. This is the strongest magnet within the volume profile. So when you look at this, a TPOC is very similar to a volume profile, but it's basically like a time profile. Instead of these nodes coming out for the amount of volume that's transacted, these nodes on the TPO, and you could look at this on TradingView, right? TradingView actually has TPO profiles right here, time price opportunity. You want to come down to the 30-minute. So here you are, right? These TPOs, right, are it's very similar, right? But these nodes come out not based off the amount of volume transacted at a price. And I don't want to confuse people, right? I don't want this to go over everybody's head. But it's very simple, right? These nodes come out when there's a lot of volume transacted. The higher volume transacted, the higher out this node comes out. That's why the POC is the biggest node, right? The TPO, right? The nodes come out where price spent the most amount of time, right? It's the same thing, just replace volume with time. And that's why you'll oftentimes see, like even if I pull this back up, you could barely see the volume profile versus you could see these gray lines, right? That's the volume profile, and then these boxes are the TPO profile, right? So where there's a lot of volume, oftentimes, there was a lot of volume. Where there's a lot of volume, typically price spends a lot of time, and that's why it's almost the same thing. The profiles are almost always identical, right? And it's just because very naturally, where you spend a lot of time, there's a lot of volume, and if there's a lot of volume and you spend a lot of time there, the nodes are going to do the same thing. And that's why you don't have to look at everything, guys. This is very important to realize, right? It's like, just like you see those, like there's probably single prints right here, right? But what is also here? It's also a very low volume node, right? You can see right here, there's a big low volume gap. So it wouldn't be surprising if there was single prints up there, right? I mean, maybe we'll check. Let's see. It's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of weird. Let me turn off the. Let's see, because this would be actually pretty interesting to. This would be pretty interesting if that was the case. Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess you did have some single prints up there, but not many. But anyway, this is not a TPO course. But let's go ahead and continue on here. But yeah, that's basically, hopefully, Gen Z, hopefully that answers your question. Pasta sauce are not free. Shout out to Jay Bella. Yeah, okay. Let's continue on. Free sauce. There you go, guys. But again, we cover this. I teach this like in depth in the premium Discord. So if you're interested, you can check the link in the description down below. It's not to shill my course, but just simply because I like to drop some free sauce, right? Our motto here is if you are doing it the right way, your marketing will help more people than your paid services or products ever will. So there you go. Anyway, let's continue on here. So again, we don't know if that red dot's going to bring us back down there, but if that red dot prints and we lose this value area low, that's the next level I'm looking for. If we lose that key zone, guys, the next level I will be looking at still is remaining that $55,000 level, which is sitting on the grander golden pocket retracement. I'll just pull this slightly, try to get this as accurate as possible here. So yeah, let me pull up these prices real quick so I can get the actual level for you guys. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. What am I doing? Here we go. Right. So yeah, why is this setting? Okay. So yeah, between at about $55,000, right? That's still like the major level of resistance support, right? If we lose this low and we come down, that $55,000 zone is kind of the one I was looking at. I thought we were going to hit it last night, to be quite honest with you, but we just front ran it slightly, held that naked point of control, got the SFP, got the bounce, right? So if we do get another drop down, $55,000 is going to be like the biggest key level. Let me actually change this setting really quickly. 55,065 down to 54,548. So that is what I'm looking at. If you guys want to try to get a little glimpse of this chart, if you guys are looking to keep it somewhat similar, there you go. Higher time frame golden pocket sitting right here. These are like the major areas I am looking at for a bounce, right? So if we continue down, we don't get that local retracement, and we come down lower. This is that next level I'll be looking at for a bounce. So there you go. And then once we start losing that 786, guys, to be quite honest with you, I think once you start losing that 786, that's where you're likely going to see the higher time frame money flows start to play out very bearishly, right? Because remember, although locally we could potentially get this move up, right? This is why it's so hard to, when people ask, are we bullish or are we bearish? This is such a loaded question. Maybe you're bullish on the 5-minute, but you could be bullish on the 5-minute, bearish on the daily, and then bullish on the weekly, right? Like, it depends on what time span you're talking about, right? Like I always say this, over the next couple years, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin, right? But, maybe if I have money flow coming out on the 3-minute or something like that, I could be bearish on the 3-minute. It all depends on what chart you're looking at. And so, yeah, keep that in mind. So there you go. That is what we're looking at on Bitcoin, guys. Let's see. Let's check it on chat really, really, really quick. Let's see. Shout out to Senza says, none of the major dumps or bounds. I don't know what you mean by bounds. None of the major dumps follow TA, so what's the point? I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Shout out to Senza. Almost every major dump I've seen was at least alerted in some way, right? Again, it doesn't make it a 100% possibility that you're going to dump, but even if you look at major dumps like the bear market of 2021, back in the day, when we were looking at, all the influencers were calling for $100,000 for what reason, I don't know why, because we were right on track with the 4-year cycle to peak. Honestly, I think the real peak was here, right? If you look back in the day, back here on that first peak, this is where social sentiment peaked, right? Like if you look at the Google search term analytics, maybe I could pull that up, right? Like the search term analytics peaked here. This is where all the crazy stuff was going on. It's this felt like the bull market, and then everyone kind of got faked out. And to be honest, this was in my opinion, some kind of a weird inflated double top, this extra all-time high. I really look at this as the all-time high in 2021 as far as sentiment goes, right? And then you had this inflated dead cat bounce. But again, right, where all the influencers were, or not, I don't want to say all, right? A lot of influencers were calling for $100,000 here. And again, for what reason, I don't know, just based off of up only moon, pump, click my video type stuff. I don't know. But I'm sitting here looking at the chart, and I started my channel in technically January. I think I posted my first video in February. And I got here right here where we started printing the weekly blood diamond, right? And shout out to whoever asked this. I forgot who asked this, but I'm not hating on you. I'm just trying to explain this to you. If you show Market Cipher A, right, we got our first ever weekly blood diamond, which is typically a very bearish sign. You can't take a trade off a indicator signal. Absolutely, right? I 100% agree. But at this point in the cycle, it made sense that we were likely to enter a bear market. We get that weekly blood diamond, the first one ever, and you can see we had already come up to, I think it was a 3, if I come up to the Bitstamp chart real quick, and we pull our fib here from the high to the low. I think it was a 3618 extension. 3618. I believe that's what that was, right? We had already come up to that extension, which again, it's not like we didn't know that this was going to be the top, but it was a significant level of resistance, right? A significant fib level. And we were putting a massive, and this was kind of the big signal, in my opinion, or the easiest to spot, huge bearish divergence on the weekly with money flow starting to come out, especially in this consolidation, right? Money flow was coming out, and that was the money flow coming out here with the weekly bear div and that weekly weekly blood diamond were some of the main technical indicators where I was like, I got roasted. This was like my early days on the internet, and I was so nervous to go on the internet and publicly talk about my TA. Not really worried about the TA, but I was not used to being on camera, right? And I'm like, oh my God, and people hated me. They were like, this guy's a moron. Get this guy off. I hate this guy, right? And then I actually got some DMs on Discord of people being like, thank God you were showing me that, because I would have held on to all my bags if you didn't show me how to do that analysis. And these were 4 major confluences. You have the blood diamond, the bear div, money flow coming out, and the major extension level tapped. That was looking for a lower high and a continuation to the downside. And not only, it's like, oh, okay, that was lucky, right? This is the same exact way we were able to predict all of these dumps, right? And again, it's not about saying it's definitely dumping here. There's a 0% chance of it going up. That's not how analysis works. It's a probability game, right? Anyone who tells you that their analysis is going to play out 100% of the time is lying to you, and it's always a happy medium, right? The truth always lies somewhere in the middle, right? It's not going to play out 100% of the time, but it's also not completely useless, right? And this should be proof, right? Just like we saw that weekly money flow, the bear div coming out, the bear div with the money flow coming out, indicating that push to the downside. That money flow was a big indicator that we're going to get that drop, right? This is very similar to when we came up to these very, very key Fibonacci levels, the 786 retracement level, with not only our 2-day money flow coming to the downside. This is what made us anticipate a very likely, we didn't know guaranteed, but we knew there was a higher probability of putting this lower high in, right? Getting a lackluster pump, likely lower high, and then a break of structure to the downside, right? TA 100% helped us call that, right? You could everything's recorded. You can go back and look on the live streams. I would not make this up if we were wrong, right? And again, we're also not making 100% bets, right? But same thing here, right? We have the 2-day green dot on the 4th of July dump, right? The next day or two, we wound up getting the green dot saying, hey, we could likely get a retracement to the upside, but we have to keep our eye open to the fact that this is likely, based off money flow, which indicates a longer-term trend, this is likely going to be a lackluster retracement to put in a lower high and then break structure to the downside again. And this is not some indicator magic, right? This is just simply market structure. The trend is your friend. When you have lower highs and lower lows, right, that is the trend is your friend until the end. So the higher probability in a downtrend is you're going to want to favor shorts, be greedy with the shorts, and then conservative with the longs. Doesn't mean that we didn't take longs down here and capitalize on the move up, but we just knew, and even like recently, on this push to the upside, people were mad, right? People were like, what is this guy talking about? Why is this guy talking about 51K when we are pumped back? We're at 69K, dude. Are you blind? It's just the TA, right? And again, we were open. We had a plan if we got the breakout, right? We knew that we were going to likely come up between $81,000 was kind of the main target if we got that big breakout. But we knew based off money flow, especially with the way this 3-day looked, that we were likely going to break structure to the downside. And it was the same exact thing. And I know I've covered this a lot, but I just want to cover this for anybody new, right? Because this is not like I'm not a wizard, right? I know some people say I'm a wizard. I'm not a wizard, I swear. Don't investigate that. But when we got this push to the upside, right, it was the same thing. We were looking at many local Fibonacci retrace, or one major Fibonacci retracement. There were actually two. It was this one, right, where we have the golden pocket, as well as this local one, where you have the 786. And we knew money flow, if it was going to continue out, that we would likely get a bounce here, right? Everyone would be very bullish, but we knew that if we came into this retracement level and we got a rejection, it could potentially be bearish, right? And we still are not guaranteed to come down and break this structure to the downside again, right? But this is how money flow helps you indicate the drops to the downside. So just to show that, it's not going to guarantee you that it happens, but I mean, if it's right 1, 2, 3 times and then it's wrong the 4th time, if you're right 3 out of 4 times and you're managing your risk, I mean, even if you're not really managing your risk, you're winning more than you're losing. And even if you aren't winning more than you're losing, you manage your risk. That's really what it's all about, right? Psychology and managing your risk, right? You also need a really, really good strategy, right? I'm not saying just go trade some garbage or just randomly gamble with good risk management. But there you go. So TA 100% can predict these things incoming. So there you go. Hopefully that helps you out, right? Again, this is not to show hate at all. This is just to inform, right? My goal here is to help people and educate them. So there you go. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Is Bitcoin breaking upwards now on the 15-minute? Probably. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, scrub a little bit in the beginning if you did not see the BTCTA, and then we will go ahead and, go check that. I'll give you all my full thoughts on the local analysis on Bitcoin. All right, let's see. Bada boom. Thanks for all you do, Frankie. Shout out to Squatch Knows Crypto. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. Good to see you, bro. All right, lackluster. Shout out to Crypto Maxi. Yeah, I always say it in that same kind of cadence, right? Because I want it to stick in everybody's head. Lackluster pump to the upside for a potential lower high, and then a break structure to the downside, right? And then hopefully you guys can always remember that. Shout out to Bitbeard. Shout out to you, bro. Said, can you break down AVAX for us, Frankie? Yeah, shout out to Bitbeard. Let me go ahead and, drop some altcoins in the chat, guys. Rob, let's do a couple altcoins. Let's do 2 or 3, and then we will go ahead and move on. All right, let's go ahead and see. Okay. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Rag Capital. Wow, I got to start wearing my glasses, man. I can't read anymore. It says, I have no more money to buy these dips. Need to sell my pasta sauce for more. Shout out to Rag. Let's go. All right, let's continue on. Okay, so real quick, guys, let me go over Ethereum really quickly here. Bada boom, bada bing. Right, and to be quite honest, the Ethereum analysis remains, the levels and stuff remain exactly the same, right? Same thing, what we were looking at on Ethereum. What we were looking at on Ethereum yesterday. What was yesterday? The 3rd. Where's the live stream? I'm just trying to see. Yeah, so it was very similar to Bitcoin, right? We were bouncing here during the stream. Money flow was crossing into the red, got the same drop as Bitcoin did. But as far as levels, guys, this all remains the same, right? The major volume profile I'm looking at is going to be, let me just organize this really quickly. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay. So yeah, the main volume profile I'm looking at is right here, right? Value area low at $2,500. In my opinion, this is the level you need to reclaim. You reclaim that value area low, could get a move, potentially start your move up towards that value area high POC sitting at about $3,100 to $3,200. However, you also have this little area of consolidation that can give you a nice little context of local levels, right? So if we get above that value area low, you have to understand that like this whole profile may wind up giving you some either resistance or you may just come up and respect that. Just remember, price is always seeking balance, and it's all about time frames, right? Like I could go down to the 1 minute, right, and we can find like very local stuff, right? Let me just put on Heikenashi's to clean this up, right? Like we could look at this as an area of balance, right? And then if price breaks out, we'll probably respect this area of balance, which is kind of what's happening right now, right? Like if you just pull this, like just very sloppily, yeah, it's hard to do this with on the 1 minute. Like pull up the 5 minute, maybe that's a little easier. Not really. There we go, right? So if I highlight this volume profile, right, very likely you may start respecting this range, right? But again, like I'm not going to show every single 1 minute level, so I'm going to show you the more higher time frame, the bigger levels, right? And in my opinion, like this is going to be the major volume profile. Get in here, could see the quick move back up, but just understand you could bing bong around here between about 25.74 and 27.34. Other than that, I will say, yeah, daily. See market cipher B. Yeah, daily VWAP got rejected. I would probably look for the same thing here. It would really just be the daily green dot's probably the next thing that would give us the bigger leg up. Key level of resistance, support if lost, calling for lower prices, probably 22.50. Lose 22.50, probably coming down pretty much lower, down probably towards $1,900 in my opinion. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at. And then if we want to add a little bit more to that, I will just bring this up as well, right? If I hide these ranges, and I don't really show this every day because I think it's pretty obvious. Like this is the main range, right? If I pull up the current range, right? These remain the same, right? Like we never wound up revisiting these levels. If we wind up getting like a big move up, again, I don't bring this up because we're pretty far away. 2,900 up to about 3,000, and in my opinion, the saucier level with the weekly naked point of control and golden pocket and spider line confluence. Again, depending on if we were to come up here, depending on when we come up, that spider line could be beautiful confluence. But yeah, this is really this volume profile sitting between 3,000 all the way up to about 3,710. But in my opinion, 31 to 3,200 is the biggest level of resistance, only because of the confluence right here, right? The confluence on the value area high POC with the weekly naked point of control golden pocket that we have there. So there you go. But we're pretty far away from that. So if I were looking at this currently, I'd probably just be paying attention to those local levels that I brought up in the first place. Bada boom. Whoops. Bada boom. Right there. So there you go. Let's see. Shout out to Tim Works Construction. Shout out to you, bro. Hopefully, maybe you like construction. I always say that, right? A lot of people will say like, I hate the TikTok gurus that like hate on like normal jobs. Like your normal job is only bad if you don't like it, right? Like when I worked a normal job, I loved my job, right? I worked in TV, right? I loved that. But yeah, maybe you like construction, but if you don't like your job, hopefully we can help you make some extra money here, and maybe one day you can fire your boss. I can't promise anything, right? Hard work. But it says, when you pull your volume profile, how do you get that top line? Very simple. If I were to pull this volume profile, very simply put, right, I'll just pull this like kind of randomly. Double click on your profile, come on in here, make sure your value area high, value area low, POC are selected. And this will give you that very, very nice range that you have, right? Value area, and then like this gives you the beautiful range to trade, right? And the idea here is you are trading overvalued back to fair value, right? And the fair value is within your range. You think of this as a fair value for the asset, right? I was going to say Bitcoin, but this is ETH, right? When you deviate above that fair value, this is like premium, right? Or expensive, overvalued, overbought, right? They're all the same thing. And then the idea is to short that if it's overvalued, and then you're expecting it to go back down below that value area high. And then once you get stuck below that value area high, you're going to be looking for price to go to the POC. That's the next likely place for price to go based off the laws of the volume profile. And then once you get stuck under that POC, you're going to look for that drop down to the value area low. Then once you deviate below the value area low, this is undervalued. Cheap asset. This is where you want to long or buy, right? To get back into the range, flip that value area low to support. Once you flip the low to support, the next place for price to likely go is the POC. You're hoping for the move to the value area high, but that POC is always going to be, in my opinion, a first take profit for me if I'm in a trade based off the volume profile. And there you go. There's some free sauce on the volume profiles. And if Actually, and again, it's all the same stuff, right? This is why I always say, thank you, Rob, for pinning those altcoins. I appreciate you so much, bro. And Chad, I saw you saw the tattoo. Rob got a Frankie Candles tattoo. He got the logo tattooed on his body. Talk about a made man of the Candle Mafia. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob, bro. Absolutely epic. He said it's healing very well. So shout out to you, bro. Hopefully it cleans up very nicely for you. But if we if you look at something like Lux Algo, right? Shout out to Lux Algo. This is why I always say, right? Like, you don't have to look at every single thing, right? Like, where you have a fair value gap, oftentimes you'll have a retracement level that you're looking to short, right? Like, and I talked about this recently with ICT, right? A lot of people trade the ICT concepts. He's like a Forex trader. I don't really know too much about him, but people seem to like him. But the, he trades like breaks a market structure shifts and then a retracement into a fair value gap, and I think that's where he takes his entries. That's very similar to just looking at a volume profile, right? And I'm not saying that's a bad strategy at all, right? Like, it's probably a good strategy. I don't know a lot about it, right? But if you look at fair value gaps, right, oftentimes that fair value gap is very often, right, like where you would be looking for a retracement level, right? So if there might be a fair value gap here, but I'm looking to short a golden pocket value area low retest, right? And it's all looking at the same information, right? It's all the same chart. So whether you're looking at a fib level, a daily horizontal, a moving average, like all this stuff is just like plotting past information that was on the chart, right? Or just measuring trends. So for the volume profiles, if you were to say like pull a volume profile, just get a little educational here real quick for anybody who's new. If I were to pull a volume profile like on this range, now it's not always going to line up exactly the same, but it's the same theory, right? If you were using like premium and discount zones on Lux Algo, right? So if I pull up Lux Algo here really quickly, and I pull up the price actions concepts, and I pull up the premium, equilibrium, and discount zones, and let me hide the bada boom. It's going to be on the current price action. Hang on one sec. Let me go into bar replay mode real quick. Bada boom. Will that work? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. There we go. Right? Okay, so it's pulling, right? If I were to pull this volume profile over the same look back, right? So I pull this volume profile down to here. Yeah, it's going to be hard because, all right. Well, very often, right, it's the same idea. This is going to be over like a longer time frame. But oftentimes, like if you pull a volume profile, right, maybe I can actually change the look back here. Let me see. Can I change the look back in here? I'm not sure. But oftentimes, if you pull these ranges, right, oftentimes that discount zone is going to be below the value area low, right? And then the premium zone is going to be above the value area high. And then the equilibrium is oftentimes near the POC, right? So whether you're looking at like, and this plots automatically on the chart, right? So if price were to drop back down here, and again, I don't know how this is measured, right? So this is, I don't know what the look back is. I don't know what they use to calculate this exactly. But I'm sure I could pull a volume profile and it would be very similar to this, right? If I knew the look back. But it's the same thing, right? You're just looking to sell premium zones and buy discount zones. And then when you're at equilibrium, you're looking for price to gravitate to that, right? And that's really the way I trade. And same thing with premium, discount, and equilibrium. It's based off the fact of price is always seeking fair value, right? When you're in a premium zone, you're likely going to retrace to equilibrium, right? Or if you're in a discount zone, you're probably going to retrace to equilibrium, right? So there you go. Shout out to Lux Algo. You guys can check the link in the description down below. This is only like one of the very few indicators that they offer. Free 30-day money-back guarantee if you want to try it. So there you go. Shout out to Lux Algo. And also, if you guys want my free Frankie Candles Essentials, this is no strings attached. If you're looking for a custom fixed range volume profile tool like I am using on this stream, that automatically automatically populates your confirmation signals, right? And so lets you know when you're deviating above a volume profile, hey, this is an overvalued asset. You're getting bearish divergences, which are automatically marked out here. And then you get the sauce can emoji, which oftentimes will let you know bearish signals in a premium zone or an overvalued zone or, above the value area high. You're going to be looking for a short to go back into the value area high and then back down to the low, which you can see plays out more often than it doesn't. Bullish divergence as you deviate back to the high. Now, you're not going to be able to trade this as a buy and sell signal, right? It's not how it's meant to work. There's no buy and sell signal that will work. There is no magic indicator. These are to assist you in making trading decisions, right? Not to be like sauce can short, sauce can, long, but this is very useful. You also have automatic Fibonacci detection, automatic Fibonacci levels, and this is 100% free. Search Frankie Candles in TradingView, no strings attached, no email, no nothing. Just click it, get it on your chart, use it right now alongside me. So there you go. And shout out to Frankie Candles in the chat. Shout out to Tony D, dropping the link to the free indicator. So yeah, shout out to Lux Algo. Link in the description down below. Sponsor of the channel. All right, let's continue on here. Let's take a look at AVAX real quick. We'll take a look at AVAX. Is that Arweave, INJ, and Solana? Okay, so let's take a look at AVAX really quick. That's the market cap. That's not what we want to see. Come out of our replay mode. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay, so let's take a look at the daily here. Let's clean up the indicators. Okay, so pull it up on the live stream chart. Bada boom. Okay, so let's take a look here. Bada boom. Okay. All right. Let's see. Maybe we could pull some fresh. Yeah, we haven't looked at AVAX in a while. I mean, yeah, right now we're getting the bounce from the golden pocket, right? Like this is pretty wild because, yeah, we haven't really looked at this we haven't looked at this often or recently. But here we are, right? We lost this area of balance. We came down. Previous value area high. Whoops. I lost the, we can get rid of the local golden pockets. Clean this up a bit. But yeah, we have the support level down here, which is based off the value area high and the golden pocket retracement from the low to the high, right? So as we got this bounce and came back down, you would look for a bounce at that goal. If you're going to continue the trend, right? If you're going to, come up, put in a higher low and continue up, you would look for a bounce at the golden pocket, right? Or maybe the 786, but you're getting kind of wonky there. So yeah, continuous, starting to get a little bounce at the macro value area high. If this is nice, right? Because not only is this going to potentially act as support, but also if we lose this area of support at 2155, right, we could look to go back down to the POC. I think we actually did look at AVAX recently. So yeah, like right here, lose the value area high. Where's the next likely place for price to go? Probably going to go to the POC, right? So yeah, like that's your key level, 2155. Lose that, look to go down to 1726. Not a guarantee, right? That's just what the higher probability outcome would be, in my opinion. And then if we lose that POC, this is probably where you'd get a bigger drop to the downside, right? If I pull up the VPVR real quick, those of you who might be new here, first off, smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of these live streams every single weekday where I show you how to make money trading crypto, whether the price is going up or down. But I want to explain. The VPVR is the same thing as a fixed range volume profile, right? But it basically just shows you the volume of all the candles visible on the chart rather than the selected range, right? Same tool, works the same way. But instead of looking at just the volume on these candles, right, or just these candles, we are looking at the volume of all of these candles, right? So keep this in mind. Lose that 55, the 2155, get stuck in the value area high. You can see we do have a pretty low volume gap all the way down to that POC. Very likely why we got that quick move down right here. And then if we lose the POC, could be a quick move down to about $15 in my opinion, right? We actually do have a significant amount of support down there. Let me actually adjust this volume profile here. Yeah, POC, lose the POC. Yeah, I'm actually going to take this range. This range is actually a bit better in my opinion. So there you go. These are the key levels to the downside, right? Lose 2155. Look to go down to this high volume node / POC at 1745. Lose the POC here. I would be looking to go down to this next high volume node at about 1342, and then your value area low is about $12, right? And then you can see here, right? I don't know. I don't think you're going to come all the way back down here. If you do, though, right? Deviation below the lows, that's where you're looking to fill the range, right? So if you did deviate below that low, look to fill the range. You're very far away from that, so I wouldn't pay that much attention. And then the idea here is you don't want to lose 2155, and more importantly, you do not want to lose this POC. This POC is the doorway to lower prices, potentially in the $13 range. And then if key levels of resistance above, going to be the value area high at 2485. Yeah, you're just kind of bing-bonging around, right? Get above this value area, POC, value area low. Like, it's all about rotation of value, right? Price is always seeking fair value. If you at imbalance, price is going to seek out the next area of balance, right, which is in that previous profile down here. If you get imbalance to the upside, price is going to seek out this area of balance, right? So there you go. This volume profile above is sitting between 24.73, POC at 25.83, and your value area high at 28.60. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Rickson. Said, I'm going to see if you can go through the rest of the episode without saying bada boom, bada bing. I lose. I'm going to say it probably 30 other times. Shout out to Rickson. All right, let's see. Yeah, another one. Shout out to Rickson if you're new here. Bada boom, bada bing is said about 40 times. And then let's see is another one. Shout out to Dave Digital. We even have an emoji for let's see. Drop that LS if you got it in the chat, if you're a member here at the Mafia. CandleMafia, that is. I don't want any misconceptions here. All right, let's see. Sorry, y'all. I unhinged my jaw to eat this food. Shout out to Wick. Oh, God. Wick, what are you eating out there? There's those out. Let's see, baby. Come on. Yo, Chaos said, don't forget the choo-choo noises. Yo, shout out to Chaos, bro. Yeah, sometimes I go, shout out to you, bro. We need a soundboard in this thing. I mean, we do have a soundboard, but I'm not on it. Just the goats. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. All right. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and take a look at Arweave. Let's check it out. Okay. Okay, so daily. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, the next significant move up, in my opinion, is if we get the green dot on the dailies, right? Like, that's probably going to be the next best chance that we have to get a significant move to the upside. Kate Diggity said, Phoebe the GOAT. Slick Greg said, Frank, have you checked out the whiff chart? We can try to take a look at whiff. Okay. All right, let's see. Yeah, so green dot on the daily, that's probably going to be the next thing. 16-hour green dot printing, 45-minute money flow kind of chopped up. What's that look like on Bitcoin? Yeah, kind of chopped up. But yeah, I'll pull the levels here for you. But for the most part, right, daily green dot is going to be the next thing to see like a significant move to the upside. And for Arweave, right, like major volume profile remains the same. You could see this value area low is always going to be key resistance until proven otherwise, right? So when you come up to the value area low, you're expecting potential resistance, but once you flip it, that's where you look for the move to the POC, right? And potentially the value area high if you can get above that POC. So daily green dot, if it does get you back up here, value area low is going to be key. Check that weekly naked point of control. Yeah, I value area low is going to be that next key level. Do we have any confluence there? Not really. So yeah, value area low sitting at 26.57 is going to be that next level. So get a move up here, key resistance until proven otherwise. That's pretty much it. Like daily green dot's going to be the major thing I'm looking at. Key level to the downside, like 786. You lose this 786 at 1893. That's probably going to give you the bigger drop down to this. Yeah, probably bringing you back down to the $16 level. If not, like potentially to the $13 level, if you get a bigger drop. Let's see. Tony with pizza. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Let's go. Okay. So that's what I'd be looking at here on Arweave. Not too much to really update there. Like higher time frames on most of this stuff looks very similar. 3-day money flow looking bearish. 4-day money flow coming out, not looking the best. But short term, we'll see what happens. I'm sure everything we say is going to happen will happen 5 minutes after the stream ends because nothing can ever happen while I'm live. Literally waits for me to turn. I swear somebody's moving the market when they see me get off my live stream. Yeah, shout out to Sound Mode said weekly short, monthly long. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I mean, I wouldn't like. I mean, it's pretty. That'd be like a pretty like vague. I don't know like the exact detail you're talking about, but yeah, I mean, and here's the thing, guys. I think the probabilities for the rate cuts now are. It really depends on what they decide to do in December, in my opinion, right? You know, if they give us, if we don't get anything like super unexpected, it like really depends because I think there was a very high chance of. Like a double rate cut, and now I think it's like leaning more towards one rate cut, so that could potentially be bearish. I think we're going to remain potentially volatile until we figure out what they do in September, right? And then, you know, just like any other time, like the looser monetary policy is likely to create that environment where we can see the risk on assets run. And again, you know, it's been in line so far. The macroeconomic conditions have been in line so far with the 4-year cycle, right? So whether you're looking at the 4-year cycle based off the halvings or you're looking at that being like with the monetary policy, it's very similar to what we've seen in the past, right? You know, once we see the stock market run, which would likely be coming up, well, I mean, the stock market has been running really, I mean, obviously since, you know, Bitcoin's been running with the stock market, right? But if we get that looser monetary policy, we're going to see everything run again. And that's not oftentimes, every single time Bitcoin has gone into a parabolic bull run, it's been those environments where we see the stock market running, right? So that's very likely what we're going to need to see happen, right? It's going to be very unlikely, in my opinion, that if we see some kind of black swan event, if we see some kind of crazy bad news happen and there's a global recession or something like that, very unlikely that Bitcoin is going to just deviate because of the 4-year cycle, in my opinion, right? And then, but to be honest, if that were to happen, that would prove that the 4-year cycle is the 4-year cycle, right? And it's not just tied to traditional finance. But it's really hard, even though the cycles have lined up with the 4-year, the runs have run with that 4-year cycle, right? Like the moves up have just tracked with the halving and all that good stuff. And like the thought process behind that is like the halving, right? Like the idea of the supply shock makes sense. But when you have like everything else rallying during Bitcoin bull runs, it's like really hard to say that it's not just linked to all the other assets, right? So we really need to see that deviation in order to prove the 4-year cycle. So there we go. Okay, let's continue on. Shout out to Pennywise. What is going on? Our favorite clown in the Candle Mafia. Shout out to Kerry Tressel. What is going on? Said, howdy, y'all. Everyone needs to go to Taco Bell this weekend so everything can start to run again. Let's go. Yo, shout out to Kerry. That is wild. But yeah, let's continue on. So yeah, we took a look at Arweave. Not really too much there. Let's take a look at INJ. I mean, INJ, getting the bounce. Where from? Right from the value area low, right? Not really too shocking. I don't really remember, to be quite honest with you, what we were looking at last time we looked at INJ. But getting a bounce from the value area low. Money flow crossing over into the green. Yeah, that's what we need, right? If we want the continuation to the upside, our best shot, in my opinion, is the daily green dot, right? Not only because of the daily green dot, but also because of the 80 and 90-minute money flow starting to cross over into the green, right? The money flow indicates longer-term trend, right? That's what's likely to give us the run. If we don't see that, right, if we don't see that green dot with the money flow crossovers at the same time, then maybe we don't see that, right? We'll have to see what happens. Let's see. Do we get the yeah, you still, continue it. Yeah, you got bullish divergences here. I mean, could potentially see it. Yeah, we'll have to see. But key level above, value area high at 1831. If you're able to break out of that, that is where, let's pull up the VPVR real quick. Yeah, I mean, if you break out of the value area high and you could crack about 1937, that is where I would look for a run up to about 2117, right? And if I were to just mark this out with volume profiles, I would simply do this, right? That's going to be a resistance, right? And obviously you have the POC value area low, value area high in here, right? So it's going to be like kind of those 3 levels, but that's going to be like a major zone, right? And then you could even like pull this range as well, right? Like if you break out of this volume profile, get above that, pull up the VPVR one more time. Hang on. There we go. Right? Yeah, like that $19 level, that 1930 level is right at these highs. So yeah, I would look for a break above that, and then if you can get above that $19.30 level, I'd look for the break up to about $20, $21. And then if you come down, key level of support, value area low, with the golden pocket 786 confluence sitting right here. sitting between 1603 and 1550. There you go. There's Dave Digital. Let's go. Shout out to Dave Digital. Welcome in, bro. Welcome in. DD's in the chat for our boy Dave Digital. Let's get it. So, yeah, there you go, guys. That is what I'm going to be looking at there on INJ. Let's take a quick look at Solana. That is, I mean, it's just still doing the same thing, right? Like, still there at our bounce zone on the higher time frames, right? Value area low, golden pocket confluence, sitting at 127 to 124.26. If we get a hold above this level, we could potentially look for a push into that POC, above the POC, into the value area high. So, yeah, I mean, not even really much to update here, right? Like, just still same sentiment. Hold above that value area low at 124.50. Look for a potential move up into the POC. 786 sitting at 119.31. Lose that. That's what opens up the door, in my opinion, to lower prices, which, if I had to find them, I would probably, like if we lose that 786, could be looking at like 97 to about $92. There you go. Hey, shout out to Miles G. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you so much for that super chat. Said, God bless everyone. That's the kind of positivity we like in the Candle Mafia, bro. Shout out to you. Thank you for dropping that super chat. And thank you for dropping some blessings on the Mafia. But with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for being here with me tonight. There's a lot of things you could be doing on this. Is it a Wednesday? I don't even know what day it is, guys. I lose track of the days here. On this beautiful Wednesday night, but you guys chose to hang out here with the Candle Mafia. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys. Don't forget to smash that like button on the way out if you found this content valuable. And yeah, we'll have to see what happens. You guys have all the key levels on Bitcoin. If we can stay above that local value area low, look for the fill of the range. If we lose it, you guys have those key levels to the downside to look for that next bounce. And I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it won't play out. Maybe I'm telling you guys, I'm due to be wrong at some point very soon. Shout out to my LG's investments. Oh, no, he's coming in flexing the check mark. Let's go. Shout out to Miles G, bro. I'm going to have to come and check out your channel, bro. Let's go. I didn't realize you were I didn't realize you had that check mark. But shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you. What kind of investments do you do? Let me know. Because we don't look at the stock market very much, so maybe you could give us some insight onto what's going on the stock market. I mean, I do keep an eye on the stock market, but definitely not, this is definitely a crypto-focused channel for sure. So thank you, Miles, for the super chat, bro. I really appreciate you. And yeah, we hope to get that check mark very, very soon. We're going for it. We're going for it. But smash that like button so we can get a check mark like Miles G Investments. But with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I don't just say that because I'm on camera. I say that because I mean it. I get to do it what I love every single day with the best people alive. And yeah, shout out to the Candle Mafia. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving it energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Shout out to Wick 589. It says, Frankie Candelabra, I hope you have a momentous evening. Wifey and I will be cloistered with our lotions and tonics to overcome the C disease. I'm not going to say that out loud. But we will attempt to be present for future episodes. Well, shout out to Wickus 589us. I appreciate you being here, and I hope you feel better, my friend. I'll see you guys next time. Shout out to the Mafia. I love each and every single one of you. See you tomorrow. Frank Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know, on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out,